Treya with teammates Doki Bird and Limalicious. They're, styled after the Recluse, but I'm curious to see if that's a character that they would actually bring out in the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Cyan as well. The big boss, maybe even Distortion, Spicy, Lobo.
So, da haben wir doch Sound. Da sind wir doch am Stiesel.
Gameplay. I'm hyped to see them play today, Jay.
Yeah, that's a squad that gets very locked in when they play. Definitely one of our favorites in the competition. And lastly, it's going to be Team Violet, led by Saikuno with teammates Garrick and Raditz. We'll see if they're able to bring that heat as well. I know we talked to Saikuno yesterday. We're pretty stoked to be part of the competition with so many well-known names here from the creator community.
Yeah, a lot of these creators we saw coming in had varying levels of just success. We didn't see too many fails, but a lot of success all across the board, approaching and having a little bit of expertise on every single squad. Dan, when someone's new coming into Night Rain, what advice do you have for them just jumping in for the first time?
Oh, for the first time, your first few runs, it's going to be a lot of learning.
Yeah.
Like a lot of other roguelikes, you're going to have a combination of acquired skill and knowledge as you go through the game. It's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
So just getting a sense of how the game plays is really critical. But I'd also like to say, maybe start with Wilder or Iron Eye.
Nice.
They're a little bit easier to play. Iron Eye, you can stay back from the action and just, shoot away. It's a fun play style. And of course, Wilder has the ability to survive.
Yeah.
And that's, again, as you're learning the ropes, that can help a lot. Especially when you're going up against the first combatant here today, Gladius.
Gladius, yeah, no joke at all if you make a mistake. That's the big thing about this type of series, right, Jake? It's like, it's such a perfect idea to make it a roguelite as well, because you want to try again. You want to have that repeat, and we know how many times you have deaths to bosses, like 600 on some of them as well. It's going to be fun to see how these guys go in here and try again against these bosses too. Here are 8 teams on screen for you right now, and they're all just waiting at that round table, maybe at the sparring grounds for that expedition to start, to lock in with Gladius and get things going.
Yeah, everybody's, getting prepared, and this is the area of the game where you're going to be able to access, your different cosmetics, thinking about different things you want to level up. We talked a little bit about some of the roguelike elements. Maybe it's a good moment to bring that up. Dan, talk to me about some of the relic system that players can expect to sink their teeth into when it comes to specializing, optimizing their builds.
Yeah, so even though you're going to be starting every run at level 1, you're making permanent progression as you play through the game. These relics can range in quality. So you're looking for the large gems to give you serious impact on your run. It could change your ultimate ability.
Yeah.
Just give you more stats. There's a huge breadth of diversity in what you can unlock. For example, I like to play a support build. So even when I'm on Wilder, I have it set so that when I drink a flask, my teammates get the flask. When I use buffing food, it also buffs my team.
Yeah.
So when I go into a boss fight, I'm just like, here's all the buffs, and here's all the healing.
Yeah.
So it makes, again, you can kind of spec your character to your own personal taste above and beyond what the character offers.
Yeah, there's like some colossal weapons in the game. I'm a big Raider main, and like I did an intelligence mind of Raider build. I know it's like blasphemous.
That's
but
illegal.
I was casting
like the rules.
I was casting some crazy spells playing Raider long range. So like you can really tune your character to whatever you want it to be, and then have 8 different characters to play. The just skill tree paths in this game are endless, Jake.
Yeah, there's so many options. So our teams are getting ready to play. I think another aspect that we're going to see come to bear as they start to queue up, as it runs, look like they're all starting to kick off here, is this team composition. You're seeing everybody start to lock in their heroes, and this is where the teams are making their first really major differentiation in terms of what strategy they're going to bring to Gladius, this first Night Lord.
Absolutely. Looking at a few Iron Eyes all across the board as well. We see an Executor, I think, towards the bottom left there. We're tuned in with little Aggie right now. See what they're rocking. Double Iron Eye with a Duchess.
This is an extremely high damage composition.
Yeah, very fragile though,
They're not going to have any frontline support whatsoever. The Duchess is going to have to be nimble in and out of combat. And one of the things that the Duchess has, not even counting her abilities, but she has a double backstep, which is fascinating for getting out of trouble. And the Duchess is going to be in a lot of trouble here because they're not going to have a frontline without it. But that said, the amount of damage output this team can deal is absolutely absurd.
So Dan, we're right here at the very start of a Night Rain run. When everybody is hopping in on the 29th, they're going to be able to start a run much like this. And what should we do on this first drop in? We know we're always racing against the clock in Night Rain, so give people a head start.
You are, but for first-time players, I wouldn't really worry about the time element at first. Just try to get a handle on what everything is and how things work. The time can come in later. That's sort of a thing you perfect rather than try to mess with it early on. So clearing out a first camp, this is a very traditional opener, if you will. This camp will take you from level 1 to 2, give you some introductory consumable items and weapons to start off your adventure. You basically want to be level 2 before you start any other content.
Yeah, we go over to Team Green here as well. You can see that it's not just the camp you start off with. There's also churches available all around that can give you more flasks. They just hit one and walked away. So towards the top left now, that's where flasks are in total. They got 4 flasks to start things off. The rest of the team should be at things like 3 and whatnot. We can go and tune over to Team Blue as well. Look at how they're taking over their camp. Just started a little bit later, but when you have Revenant in the pool, you can just go through camps so fast. They just landed, by the way. This camp's already done.
Yeah, it's cleaned out already. And again, the Revenant is really great at clamp clears because of not only does she have her friend.
So, jetzt haben wir den Stream gemanagt. Jetzt gucke ich auch zu hier, was hier überhaupt passiert. Wobei ich will noch mal gerade was zu bringen.
You may hit churches up early, you may hit them late, or you may bypass them entirely.
Yeah, I want to go to Team Purple right now to look at just what happens in some of these other big cathedrals, not even churches. We're going to lock in with them, taking on a Guardian Golem that spawns here. Some other teams so far have also gotten to this point and taking things down. Now, again, I know this seems like a very big BR thing. There's a circle close again. We have 8 different teams. They're all doing their own runs. It's not all the teams on the same map. So every single team is in their own seed, doing their own run, kind of racing to see who can take this boss down. It's kind of like a yes-no check system every single game. Did you beat the Night Lord? So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're following. I know you see everyone's kind of on the same map, but they're in their own type of games right now.
So yeah, they're all going to be facing Gladius at the end of this.
Yeah.
But
Okay, also wir gucken 3 unterschiedliche Gruppen, die gleiche, den gleichen Seed spielen. Okay. Ich hatte gedacht, wir würden 3 Spiele an. Okay. Schauen wir mal, was passiert. Also angeblich 3 unterschiedliche Gruppen mit den gleichen Voraussetzungen.
Differences inside the game. We thought a Guardian Golem inside a cathedral. This one spawning in at the top of a fortress that these guys have to scale from the basement to get all the way towards the top of. We can go to Team Tan right now. Again, I can show you the differences in this game. That's Executor, a double Executor team with an Iron Eye.
I love it. That's very bold. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm rooting for this team now.
Oh, they got a Nagakiba as well, so they're going like the perfect item for the Executor. This is nuts. So yeah, again, like the differences for every single team are crazy with the compositions early. Let's slow things down a little bit and just talk about day number 1. I talked about fortresses, cathedrals. What's available on the map for teams to do?
We're going really fast here. Yeah. So there are all kinds of different like camps of different varying strengths.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to determine with your team like, okay, we're level 3. How aggressive are we feeling?
Yeah.
Do we want to take on a castle? Do we want to go to the castle and check that out? Do we want to go to a fort? Do we want to go to camp? Do we have Stone Sword keys to do the Ever Jails?
Yeah.
And the bonuses that they provide?
And then, yeah, the big thing too is every single camp inside the game on the mini-map, if you see it pulled up, it has a little emblem next to it that shows you what type is in that camp, what type of weapon is available. So if you're going up against Gladius, I believe you're looking for holy weapons as his weakness, right? Every Night Lord has a weakness, so you might go for a holy camp. You might go for a fire camp for a certain amount of weapons you like to have. So that's a big thing too.
100%. And especially if you're just starting out, getting those weapon vulnerabilities is going to help a lot. So if you go into that fight with Gladius with holy weapons, you have a much better chance of victory.
Yeah, now Jake, when it comes to some of these camps, the one big constant, because the camps will change all around, is the castle. Talk to me a bit about that castle, Jake. What's available in the center of the map? It's a big place with a lot of loot available.
Yeah, the castle is definitely something that a lot of our runners are going to take on because it's one of the most powerful, dangerous challenges in the overworld, but it also has some of the best rewards. Right now, Team Bronze, they're challenging the Everjail, so they had a Stone Sword key to open this one up. It summoned a random boss fight, and I mean, what's crazy is with how many runs we've personally seen Joe at PAX East and here, this is the first time that I've actually seen this come out of an Everjail, and we keep saying that every run. Like, there's always something new, even for us, who we've seen like close to 100 runs at this point. Talk to me though about this little mechanic. Right at the end of that, they defeated the mini boss, and they got that boss reward. That was a blue rarity. Tell me a little bit more about that looting rarity system when you defeat mini bosses and major world bosses.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you beat a boss, you're going to get options. And depending on the strength of the boss, the options will be more powerful. Those can include, obviously, weapons and other things like that you can equip. But they also include, like, permanent sort of skills. So they can be passives, sort of like, that have a big range, right? You could get 10% HP, 50% HP, or, you know, lightning whenever you roll. Or stars that fall from the sky while you're walking. There's a lot of different variables in those, and you're going to build a completely different character composition every run.
I love that. And right now you can see that Yes, one team went to go for an Everjail. They fought Stoneskin Lords. It was very contained, kind of in a boss arena. Now we're invading the camp. A different team decided to go for the Red Main Knights. This is Team Cyan, Distortion's team. They're rocking Reclusive.
Ich will jetzt mal anmerken, die reden da von 3 komplett unterschiedlichen Spielen, wo alles komplett anders läuft. Es sieht aber, die 3 Sachen sehen aber komplett gleich aus, oder bin ich jetzt hier irgendwie hängen geblieben? Ja, das sind doch 3 Spieler, denen wir hier zugucken, das sind nicht 3 Gruppen. Okay. Nee, das ist eine Spielgruppe, okay.
And her ultimate ability is amazing for your whole team. It puts a curse on the enemy, and every time the enemy gets hit by anyone on your team, they get health and FP back.
Oh, that's nuts. So you just get to sustain.
You can just chain your abilities over and over on bosses, just empty everything you got on.
And she hits so hard. I want to jump over to Team Bronze here. Once again, just looking at a team that's taking on something very different from everyone else inside this Night Hunt right now. So they're actually inside this castle. You can see you're not going to be looking at a boss health bar down below, but a lot of these things that spawn in the castle are just strong. These are the Crucible Knights, basically a mini boss, and there's like 5 of them that spawn in.
The castle has sort of mid bosses, like this one that will drop perks after they. So, if you can clear the castle, you're going to get a lot of XP and a lot of loot.
There it is, yeah.
You see here, you know.
And this is the big thing too when it comes to this game, right? So Iron Eye, you can see the inventory is already full. We're still making decisions here. Every single weapon has a passive that can help you. So increased two-handed strength, increased jump attacks, less FP consumption. You're thinking about min-maxing 24/7, even if you found the perfect weapon. And also, when it comes to fall damage, inside this game, there is none. So scaling this castle, getting out of it, a lot easier inside Night Ring.
There's no fall damage, and there's also, you can grapple up sort of walls and stuff by jumping. The traversal is paramount in this game, and you have lots of ways to move around. You can sprint super fast. You have slipstream jumps to get you across. You can jump to the top of this castle if you want.
Let's look at the bottom of the castle real quick. Team Purple, want to tune in with them ASAP. This is the very basement of the castle we're watching right now in a different world entirely. They're facing the Royal Revenant down here, struggling a little bit. A few players going down now. Jake, the Revenant, usually we fight him in a big open field. In a claustrophobic dungeon like this, it's so much different.
Yeah, and Limu trying to clutch this one out is the only player left alive. You can see their teammates are down, and you attack your allies when they're in that down state to get them back in the fight. But there you see it, the second time you go down... Es
ist ja irgendwie schon interessant. Also was ja im Endeffekt passieren wird, ist, dass die meisten Gamer die ganze Zeit auf der Suche nach Jesus sein werden und dann versuchen, das zu optimieren alles und das Spiel möglichst langweilig zu machen.
It's not the end of the run when you die in the daytime. So when you die at this phase, it's a setback. You're gonna lose a level, but you are gonna respawn as at Site of Grace. And it's also a big decision point. It's like, do you want to go back in and take on that challenge that just bested you?
Yeah.
And try to, kind of get back into the run? Or do you want to cut your losses? And some of those decision points are really key.
Das ist nicht groß, dieser Bereich, wo der gerade rumrennt. Dieser Ring ist nicht sehr groß. Das sind Quadratkilometer oder so.
Or to get a surprise initiate on an opponent.
I want to stick with Team Blue here as we get over towards what seems like an Everjail, just to see what boss spawns out of it, so you guys can see kind of the diversity.
Also wie der rennt, ist das deutlich weniger als ein Quadratkilometer. Aber der Sprint ist schnell.
We can also get to see some of this Revenant gameplay. I mean, this is a new character we're showing for the first time, so let's see how Cowboy takes on a classic.
Okay, hier ist einfach mal so ein Evergale.
See, there you go.
Spawns Frederick.
That's a tankier summon than yeah.
Looks like they're gonna try to aggro, pressure that boss down. The summon can maybe hold some of that aggro, create opportunities for the teammates.
Wow. They're kind of using the apostles.
The bell-bearing hunter has also joined the fray here. So that's
okay.
Traveling around in the overworld. Yeah, you never know where you're gonna run into.
And they immediately ask to just disengage, and get out of there.
These are some of our strongest players in the competition. I think this is actually great for fans to see that one of the key decision points in Night Ring is picking your battles, deciding sometimes it's better to come and take on a smaller camp. I mean, they're only level 4. Fighting the Godskin duo plus a Bell-bearing hunter at the same time
it's a lot.
Is a lot. It's seriously a big risk you would take, but coming to clear a couple camps, getting
ja, okay, es ist halt schon anders, ja. Du kannst dich in Dark Souls nicht einfach aus einem Bosskampf verpissen, so. Das ist schon interessant, ja.
The Noble even if they come back on day 2, they're going to be rocking this one, which is huge.
Ich glaube, ich habe schon Bock, wenn ich mir das so anschaue.
It's a lot of boss bars.
Yeah,
a lot of boss bars.
Lots to micromanage. Well, look at Team Bronze here next just to see what's going down, or actually even jumping over to Team Gray. I know we're bing-bonging here afterwards. We'll check in with Bronze for a second. They're taking down the castle. If you guys want to see the Goskin Nobles taken down as well, we can tune in with Gray. That double Executor gameplay, I know they're experienced with the Godskin combinations when it comes to some of their movesets, so they're going to be parrying maybe even the roll a lot over and over again. So, yeah, here we go with Team Gray. Everjo, by the way, in a completely different section of the map.
Yeah, and you don't need to be a parry wizard to use the Executor's parry in this game. It's much more flexible. It's one of his special abilities. So
yeah.
You basically set it up and then unleash.
Gotta watch out, though.
But yeah, you do need to set it up.
You need to set it up.
Noble's a huge threat. Moonski's gonna have to get the res. Iron Eye, I think, is another great aspect. We saw another team pull this too. The arrows are really flexible to res. One pro tip we've seen a lot of teams do though is even if they're running more of like a melee focused build, we've seen some of our stronger players still have a bow in the back pocket, one that they could tap into if they want to get a res off in a difficult scenario. But this team also is not feeling that smoke, which wants to chill out and
more than
go
one
for a
team
more
here
challenging
is
camp.
biting off a little more than they can chew and seeking other opportunities.
Yeah.
Which is good. You got to know when to hold them, when to fold them in this game.
It's different for them too, because they actually cleared this camp before doing the Everjill. Very different to what we saw from Team Blue.
Ja, okay, also ja, das macht Sinn. Du bist sauschnell. Du kannst selbst wenn in einem normalen Souls-like die Gegner vor den Gegnern wegrennen, außer die Arena ist begrenzt. Und dieses Game scheint die Arena nie zu begrenzen. Das heißt, man kann sich einfach immer verpissen, wenn es einem zu viel wird. Außer wahrscheinlich von den Nachtbossen. Okay, ich glaube, ich kann mir so langsam vorstellen, was das hier ist. Ey, das sieht doch... Ich hab da Bock drauf, wenn ich mir das angucke.
It's butter in a microwave right now, kind of the same color, right? That yellowy, meltish orange, and it's about to be real tasty for the team. Get a big boon here.
It's gonna be 11 at the end of day 1. That's absurd.
I don't think I've seen that before. I genuinely don't think I've seen 11 on day 1.
So as this first day turns to night, you can see that sky is darkening around us. That also means the zone is closing in, forcing our teams to that night 1 arena. Dan, walk me through what happens here as this zone of night comes in and we get towards that final arena. What can we expect next? Sure.
So as the circle closes to the final, which is doing right now, they're going to have to face some lesser monsters, which are going to indicate what the boss they're going to be fighting is. So it can actually give you an advantage. You'll be like, oh, fighting. Let's see what we have here.
We got to see what's up. While these guys lock it down, maybe we tune in to Team Violet really quick. They're actually inside the zone and looking to get to this position. We'll tune right back with that team to see what boss it is. But yeah, here's the issue.
Super risky deep in the zone here.
Yeah, they went for a troll and like they locked in too much.
You see this a lot. When that night is falling, you have to make the choice. Do we want to spend extra time here and race against the clock as it closes in on us? The additional risk, as you can see, does not always pay off.
Yeah.
And again, if you just go to the circle right away and you just sit around waiting for the boss, you're like, oh.
And then you might get to the Night Lord and not be as strong as you would like to be.
Yeah.
So they're still going to have that chance. Looks like
Here's
Team
first
Cam
one
with Lil Aggie are going to take on the Bell-Bearing Hunter, and this is one that, I mean, they look so comfy. Lil Aggie is just locked in, not a problem, especially with the Iron Eyes, right? Double Iron Eye in this strategy.
Eyes is just so potent.
Look at his HP bar.
They can really kite.
Look at that. What was that?
So I'll tell you what that probably was. I didn't see it. But between the 2 Iron Eyes and the Duchess has one of my favorite abilities in the whole game. It's called Restage. And what it does is it plays back all the damage that was done to the target in a very short time frame. So if you watch your friends and wait to see what they do, and then just tap that, you're doing all that damage again. So all your damage, all your friends' damage, all at once. Just huge chunks of damage. That was
actually
very
insane.
clean.
Yeah.
Speaking of the team synergy there, another thing I noticed from Team Tan is they pick up that boss buff. That's going to be some of your most powerful passive buffs, or sometimes active buffs, that come in after a night boss. That they have actually the poison and the Scarlet Rot in their build. So playing up those status effects, having different members maybe grab a different status effect, being ready for the Night Lord you're going to face off against is really potent. And Team Tan, they're really showing their experience, looking like one of the clear favorites right now in the competition.
Then we got to tap into Violet to see the other type of boss that could spawn in. So we saw the Bell-Bearing Hunter go and fight. Now we're going to be looking at the Demi-Human Queen and the Demi-Human Swordmaster. So this is a bit different, right? 2 bosses at once.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the Queen so much, but the Swordmaster, he's kind of sneaky. You got to watch out for him. He can kill your whole team if you're not careful.
Yeah, you got to be.
He's very small and very dangerous.
There's Garrick there with the Revenant playing like distraction duty.
Yep.
And so making sure that, you know, no matter what happens, the rest of the team's gonna be able to take on the Queen successfully. And yeah, you can see the POVs now. Revenant kind of soloing the Swordmaster, the rest of the team trying to make quick work of the Queen.
And I mean, one of the key factors in Night Rain is that even some of these familiar enemies still have reworked move sets, or the boss has been, the fight has been reworked, i.e. having multiple enemies to face. So you need to coordinate that strategy. Of sometimes we've seen a lot of teams split up the aggro, having, you know, so that both bosses aren't aggroed on the same person at the same time, making dodging a little bit easier. It's one of those key strategic factors that when you hop in, and whether you're playing with friends or playing online queuing up, that coordination, the communication is a key aspect of your success in a given run of Night Rain.
Yeah, and even if you're just playing on randoms, there's a lot of really interesting data that is on the you can see on the stage. So like you noticed there in the Demi-Human Queen, she had a rot debuff. So you can actually see the debuffs on the targets and the buffs. So you can coordinate with your team that way silently. Like if you see the rot on there, like, okay, my teammates are gonna put rot on the target, I'm gonna take perks that support that.
Let's look at Tan real quick. They're gonna just jump in as to what could be happening for Team Violet even, like just in 5 minutes. A Deathrite Bird kind of just spawned on the map on day 2. The bosses get a bit scarier. A few more field bosses end up spawning in. Right now he is staggered, he's not sleeping.
I mean, with again, this double Iron Eye Duchess comp just has the damage, just absurd damage output potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great spot to see. We're gonna tap in here with Team Violet and watch them. So a lot of our teams are on to this second day phase, but this is sort of the process you can expect, right? After you beat that Night 1 boss, you can have an opportunity to pick your perk. Sight of Grace will spawn in if you have the runes to grab the level up, or you can reset your flasks and your FP and your HP, and then now on to the next day. Something we have seen, a little pro tip for people who want to really min-max, is we've seen some teams run off into the fog before it even clears.
You can do that.
Try to start into day 2 as quickly as possible, but now pretty much everyone is on to that day 2. Let's join Team Cyan. Looks like they're taking down a gargoyle right now, and tell me about where they are on the map right now. Let's go to Team Cyan and we can show that for POV, because
the gargoyle's already dead.
Yeah, the gargoyle's already dead.
What is happening?
This is crazy.
This is the unique
Common
Crater
Azure,
map event,
Glintstone
right?
Staff. Yeah, I mean, okay, so we have one of the best spells in the game to take down Gladius or any boss. It's on Distortion, by the way.
It's a very powerful spell.
Yeah,
and the reduced FP skill cost for the passive, that's so potent.
Yeah,
or the recluse.
and he has another thing to pick as well. Dude, he's going
we
crazy.
talked about this a little briefly, but yeah, even though you're only going to be wielding 1 or 2 things at once, all 6 of those slots matter.
Yeah.
So you can stack all kinds of things. So if you're a caster, you can stack FP consumption perks and other things like that.
Yeah, and then I'll slow it down again once more. Day 1, we talked about exploring, going to POIs, seeing what's up.
Damage.
On day number 2, and yeah, there's no fall damage. Something that happens sometimes in these maps is called shifting earth. So a crater spawns in, there could be a mountaintop that spawns in, a biome of rot even. We'll see some cool things throughout the day. This is the crater, and on day 2, you can spend the whole day scaling these things. They'll spawn, you know, very unique field bosses. We just saw the gargoyle. Now we got a falling star beast coming in. Maybe that's why this whole crater was made.
Maybe.
I mean, this is huge. You never see this in every single run. These guys are choosing.
Das Game ist
But they're making quick work of this boss.
So they made the choice to come into the crater, which means they're probably going to go below.
Das ist hier eine Multiplayer Power Fantasy, Monster Hunter, wie auch immer, ey. Ich glaube, das kann schon ganz geil sein, ey. Kann halt auch so richtig schlecht laufen wahrscheinlich, weil es halt ein From Software Game ist, aber das ist ja eigentlich eine feine Sache, ey.
Kind of working backwards compared to every other team did.
And I mean, the roof of the castle, like we mentioned that they're on, really tends to have some of your biggest challenges in the overworld very consistently. And so it's a place that some of our more confident teams are going to reliably be coming to seek that challenge out, get some very powerful perks. And it looks like we even got a couple legendary weapons for teammates for Gino Machino and CBD.
Yeah.
Those could really play to your ability. That's the type of thing where you find that loot early on in the run, you find that legendary weapon and you start to build towards it. You know, you never know which drop is going to lead you in that direction and give you that purpose overall for how you're going to build and take it on the Night Lord.
Yeah, I want to actually go to Team Blue here specifically real quick when it comes to how things are looking like on the opposite side of the map inside this crater. So they've kind of gone way past where we saw the other team take that Fallen Star Beast down. They're past it even more so, taking out these big priests and going for a drop per every single mob. So the amount of loot you have in here is plentiful. After that, we got to keep moving. Speed is of the essence.
You do, because
time is of the essence.
If you're going down into the crater, remember, you have to have a plan to get back out.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're going to keep walking forward. Here's Revenant. Again, the specialty is taking out mobs with absolute speed. And you can see that happen again. Everyone going down. The rest of the team maybe just looking around to see, you know, what we're going to be looking at towards the bottom of the crater. They're still moving. They got more stuff to get past over here.
I recognize this golden fog ball, guys. That's definitely a signal of something.
Now they're going to tap in on their side. I want to go to Team Cyan real quick, who might be doing something very similar. Again, still looking different though, right? They're also going to tap in, in the exact same place, this time with Recluse. Let's look at how fast we can get through a mob like this when you have a spellcaster that's kind of focused on that single target damage.
That's, wow.
I mean, the prelates.
I mean, these builds are really coming online. This is one of the things I talked about with Recluse, right? Is you have so many options, so many flexibilities. You start getting the right perks, the right passives together, and you become this monster late game damage dealer. And so the hands of somebody as expert as Distortion, we really get to see what's possible. I think Recluse with all, we talked about it a little bit, we could say more though about that first skill. You know, the ability to pull the elemental damage that you deal to an enemy, you pull that out of them, and then you're able to deploy that depending on its combination to send it back on an enemy in different unique spell combos. So there's going to be so much depth in that. I think
you can cook a lot of different stuff up in the magic cocktail.
And absolutely, shake and stir it, do whatever you want with it, and you get some crazy combinations. Right here, so this is about timing, min-maxing. Lots of fire cards, we take our time to take down, but Dan talked about it, the crater. You have to solve its mysteries. You have to be upkeeping with time as you move around. There's hands clawing at you, parts spitting flame. You are skipping as many of them as you can.
Was sie da durchpesen?
End of this that you really want to have, you know, just grab your eyes on.
Again, it's always about choices, right? Like, you could be halfway through the run and be like, okay, we got halfway through the crater, but the wall's coming in. Maybe we should exit now. We'll see what happens. But a lot of these teams, it looks like they're going for it.
Absolutely. We can tune in back over to Team Blue. I like going back and forth to see exactly how they're making decisions here. So Distortion is going all the way forward. Cowboy instead has actually taken out every single fire cart. Looking at these hands as well, he's kind of delayed a few meters back from where we saw the other team, but has more runes in total. So they'll get another level up, go up to 9, and now they're moving through all the hands. So it's very different for both teams. I want to stick with Team Blue here as you see them go so much closer to that crater, almost all the way.
They're going right to the bottom.
We can actually hop over to Team Cyan to see where they're ultimately going to be going, the final challenge. Although I think Team Blue.
I think we stick with Team Blue. I want to see them.
Team Blue's about to run in and show off some of the loot to be found in the crater.
And there it is, both of them side by side.
On the crater here, taking on the magma worm here down at the base.
That is just such unbelievable damage, man. Like I can't. They're punishing the magma worm. That is a thick monster. Okay.
Oh my God! Both teams actually. These health bars are absolutely getting decimated. I mean, Recluse with these spells is just every single time she casts one, the magma worm staggered as well. Going to take a big crit there too. I mean, it's just nuts from both sides. Now, Dan, talk to me about beating this magma worm.
Cowboy went down in one hit.
Oh, no way.
That's what you got to worry about, right? You were mentioning this, Dan.
Revenant is frail.
You don't want to get too greedy with the spell casting, right? You could be in trouble if you take that one powerful hit from an enemy.
But Sebastian's out.
Wow, Team Cyan, that is ridiculous. I looked away from the screen for a second, and they already cleaned the magma worm. And now, tell me about what they get at the bottom of the crater.
So if you complete this aspect of the crater, you will actually be able to take any one of your items, any one of your weapons, and turn them into a legendary.
Wow.
So this is an incredible buff to go into the final battle with, because again, you look at the boss's weakness, you're like, oh, I've got a holy item. And this isn't even a holy one. It doesn't matter, right? It's like, if you've got a legendary weapon, very powerful. And so you can make any one of your weapons legendary at that little service down there if you beat the magma worm.
And that's huge, right? If you're playing Recluse, you pick up a weapon, make it legendary. If you're playing Iron Eye, you love your starting bow, a gray item. Make it legendary.
This is not, you know, we talked about the relic system very briefly before we started going. So let's say I have a relic that starts my bow off with fire. And then I don't want to pick up anything because I want fire, right?
Exactly.
You can make that legendary.
And it does so much
damage. And all of a sudden, your starter bow is now a legendary item.
So it's amazing.
There's all kinds of different routes you can take. And again, this is only when the crater's in play.
And it's still all earned, right? We saw these teams go all the way down. They have to practice actually going through this crater a couple of times as well. I've been lost, Jake, going into this crater sometimes. I have no idea. The first time I was in here, I had no idea what was going on.
These teams have been clinical about going down here. It's actually, there's a lot more places you can get lost and other places.
Ihr könnt mal wieder Vollbild machen, eins von den zwei Spielen. Was soll denn der Scheiß da, ey? Das ist so ein Witz.
Looks like everyone's going to take their chances. Let's look at some of the level scaling. We see Team Blue is around about level 9, Team Bronze level
It's 15.
Das ist doch lächerlich.
So, I mean, this is an amazing run. I think Bronze and Cyan are both hitting level 15. Like, guys, like we've seen a lot of runs. That's rare.
That's the
for
cap.
runners to be
So yeah,
hitting
just so
the
you
level
know,
cap.
the regular level cap is 15.
Yeah. They're done. Like, there's supposed to be a night 2 boss that gives you XP as well.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But there's still going
It's
to be
not over,
chances to
you know.
spend your consumables. There's special
True.
merchants around the map, so you don't have to spend your runes on leveling up if you want to. You could go for more of those consumables. You could play towards that, and even, of course, we'll be able to see that closer to the final Night Lord. There's going to be one more chance to spend your runes. So you don't have
Just
to
to
be too
talk,
desperate.
to talk about that a little briefly, the runes, you can use them for all kinds of different things, including you can get more item slots. You can actually buy gear directly from a shopkeeper, and of course consumables. I know for a lot of first-time players for this, you might not think about consumables too much. I know when I played Elden Ring, I didn't use them at all usually.
I'm saving them for the next round.
You save them for the next round, right? But in this game, use them.
Yeah.
Use your consumables. They're very good in this game.
Team
Absolutely
Green,
huge.
they're going to take on the Valiant Gargoyle. And honestly, this could be a great time here for a listen-in.
Level 9 Gargoyle.
This is a challenging fight. Yeah, let's see if we can listen in with Will Knapp and see how they're taking on this engagement.
I got Myth. Don't worry. Just distract him. Oh my God. Get Myth. Boys, he is absolutely clapping my balls.
All right.
That's the gargoyle experience, man.
Look,
That's the gargoyle experience.
There's
Look.
a dagger!
you know what you're taking on when you come against the Gargoyle. You got to be ready for that.
Please!
So close.
They got it. They got it.
And that's a key comeback fight for them, right? In this run. Like, they're level 9. They needed those runes. They needed this loot. They took the risk, and this time, it pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you can see here, here's one of the, we're hovering over it. You know, if you have teammates who are putting poison or rot on people, you can have +7 continuous HP recovery. That's a lot.
Yeah, serious.
It's like having a flask pretty much the entire time.
You also can drop loot to your allies. Here, Distortion, looks like on the Night 2 boss, they grab the Deathrite Bird, and this is a tricky arena for him. He's up on the high ground, casting these devastating range
Knight
attacks.
is coming in.
Yeah, that might be a foe that maybe they're not ready to challenge, especially in that position when he backs off into the Night.
They probably feel it's not worth the risk, considering they're probably going to be 15 after the night.
Yeah,
boss.
maybe no reason to take on a challenge. I mean, if you lost a level now at 14, that would be incredibly costly. You can see that circle on the map is zoning them in towards the final arena. But I mean, 14 right now is amazing. I have no question in my mind that these guys are going to survive that night.
I think
to the Night Lord.
Yeah, I think Gladius should be afraid of these teams, not the other way around.
There's a different type of Night Lord just walking around. Here's Night Boss number 1, by the way, for a bunch of other teams. And
oh my!
Just
if you blink, there's bye bye. Yeah.
Absolute wow.
Seems like the run's going pretty well for Team Cyan. All right.
Definitely seeing some really high level Recluse play here. This I can't even imagine the effects they have stacked, but they're very serious.
It gets insane. And again, the one good thing about Recluse is that she never really runs out of FP, right? Especially with that ultimate.
Yeah, look at that. Look at all these passives are improving those sorceries. They're stacking the damage and reducing FP costs. So you can just let loose.
Yeah.
The thing is, your build is going to be different every game, right? You might be led in a different direction. You might be trying out different spells. And I think for me, you know, as someone who's a huge fan of Elden Ring, that I didn't fully explore like all of these different ways to play and fight in the game. And Night Rain really brings that to bear. And I think for a lot of players, it's going to be a great opportunity to really get the full breadth of the experience, to try all these different strategies and builds. And there's a reason this run is going so well. It's not because they needed to hit exactly this build, but it's because these players are able to adapt to whatever the game throws at them, and they're just really displaying their skill. Team Tan, I believe this is the Night 2 boss for them?
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Level 14, taking on the Tree Sentinel. Not even worried about using their ultimate right now. Well, Aggie.
Sentinel and friends.
Yeah, I mean, you got to just give you out again. Park and Harbor, Parky, she's on the back, right there taking over some of the cavalrymen. Aggie's focused with Chris to take on the big Sentinel, and the Sentinel looks weaker than the cavalrymen right now. I mean,
They're going right for the big one first. Just the punishment that 2 Iron Eyes can put out with the Duchess. Again, I'm used to seeing this kind of composition with a tank in front, but using the Duchess means this is just unbridled damage.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
you know, in a boss fight, I don't think Gladius is going to be a problem. But in a larger boss fight, it might, you know, if you go down once, there might not be a chance for recovery.
This is the highest risk for like one of the highest rewards ever. Also, that's so sad. I feel like if the cavalryman dies, we should let the horse live, you know, just be able to ride off into the night. But we gotta put the horse down too.
Look, you need those runes, all right? This is about business. We standing on business here for Team 10. They're gonna take their last perk and tell me what's spawning in right here. Tell me what we can expect to happen next here, Dan, after this second night boss.
So basically, the night cycle's over. There's no more roaming the map. After you've beaten Night 2, you're going directly to the Night Lord. You're gonna have a chance to level up and use a shop and use a blacksmith, so all those amenities are in this shelter that they're going to next. But there's no more map. We're just going to the boss.
Let's go over to Team Blue. Look at that Revenant gameplay again. We looked at just one of the night bosses. That's the Tree Sentinel. Well, we'll go there in just a second, actually. It's true. Let's look at day 3. We're talking about consumables as well. So this is one of the places you can get some of the best.
Basically, again, no more traveling the map. This is where you get set up for the big encounter. Everything's been building to this, the Night Lord. And so this time we're facing Gladius, which I'm pretty sure this team right here is absolutely going to eviscerate in seconds.
I've got some very potent builds brewing on many of our team members.
And you can see here again, don't ignore the consumables.
Yeah.
You can see they all stocked up. This stuff is all really good in these boss fights.
They're endurance fights, right? These are like some of the longest fight of the run is going to be that Night Lord. It's going to be
these are the biggest challenges. You want to have every advantage possible going in. Level 14 though, they're sitting pretty, honestly.
It's the biggest advantage possible, yeah. This is nuts. So, you know, open that white door as well. Duchess double Iron Eye, sometimes you don't get the biggest value because, you know, sometimes there's arrows being shot at multiple mobs, but against just one Night Lord, right? That Duchess is going to be repeating so much damage.
I can't tell you how much I love the restage ability.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying. Obviously, you know, the Duchess is kind of like, again, like the rest of this team, kind of fragile. But the restage ability playing back all the damage your entire team does. Even if you're not communicating with your team, you can just watch visually when those giant arrows shoot.
Whether it's like a blood proc or a big repulse.
Doing it right after a bleed proc is the most, the boss's health bar just, it's gone.
Yeah, yeah. Eviscerated, evaporated, melted. Choose your way to have your boss, I guess.
And this is going to be our first look of the stream here at this Night Lord. I know for a lot of fans who maybe haven't seen so much of what to expect in Night Rain, get ready. This is Gladius, the Beast of Night.
Three-headed dog going crazy. And again, the mobility you've got here, this is where we really put the players to the test, right? So night bosses might be a bit slower. You might be a little bit stronger compared to them in terms of your vigor. Over here, Dan, this is what you're talking about, right? When you have a squishy team comp like this, one bad mistake is a third of your team down.
Can happen.
Yeah.
Now, it's not going to happen on this one, but it can happen. It can definitely happen. Again, Gladius, again, he's still quite challenging, but should not present a problem to this particular team.
And level 14 is great. I mean, like, honestly, you could be in this boss at level 12. We've seen people clear it even lower than that and still feel pretty confident about your chances. So the fact that your run has gone so well up to this point, it puts you in a position of massive advantage. And now Gladius goes into the second phase.
Yeah, and every time you get here, you won't be at 12. Sometimes you'll be at 15. You might be at 9.
Yeah.
But you basically have to figure out how to do it with what you got. You're going to have different tools every time.
So I see what they're doing. Iron Eye's ultimate is this big bow shot. Every single dog gets kind of collateral with that bow. They double ult back and forth and deal quadruple the damage. That gets, I think, power to the 9s by restage. The mathematics elude me, right? It's my Night Lord.
Maybe we can bring in Cyan
Very powerful map.
Yeah. And yeah, Cyan's here too. Who's gonna actually beat this first? That's the big question.
Cyan is a little bit ahead. It looks like Cyan got the first battle.
Wow.
Cyan eliminated it. Started it, I think, almost the latest.
I don't even think we got to see that one because it probably just evaporated.
These are crazy places to be. Amazing first run here for Team Cyan, led by Distortion too. It's a great start, but it's expected for these squads. Team Tan looking to get the cleanup as well on Gladius, but this is going to be the one they're most familiar with. This is really your introductory run, your warm-up run for these squads.
Yeah.
Again, still a challenge, but these squads really know what they're doing.
These are some of the best players in the game, right? So, like, when I hop in, it looks a little different, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm usually lying there on the ground.
Level 15 as well for Team Bronze. Man, there's going to be some very serious competition into some of these more difficult runs.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see how things shake out because when they start, those runs are going to look very different than the one we just saw. Again, different variables every time.
Lock in with Team Blue as well. We're going to be looking at just the way that these guys might be starting a bit later, that might not be due to just the speed at which you're playing the game. You can spend your time planning on how things are going for this Night Lord all the way towards the very end, right? You can spend your merry days having dinner at that smithing place or just that pre-bridge right before the Night Lord happens. You can still see the damage we're pumping out here on blue is absolutely amazing.
This is a pretty cool build from fighting Cowboy on the Revenant. We talked about how squishy Revenant is and how worried you are about taking a big hit, but it looks like he's grabbed a great shield. I think this is the Bell-Bearing Hunter's great shield. That can be really potent in this fight. It's hard to dodge all the attacks from these split-up beasts. And so this is giving him a bit more flexibility, a bit more staying power to be close and engage on the boss, showing that your build could be different every run. I mean, I hadn't thought about using a great shield on Revenant, but it seems to be working right now.
It might have good passives. I'm not exactly sure why he's using it. Maybe because he did go down earlier, right?
Yeah.
Defense.
I mean, he's already blocked some powerful attacks with it. Staggers now, though.
Whoa! Holy!
Sorceries.
That's insane! Never seen that in Night Rain before. And Gladius is down again. I mean, huge. Team Blue wiping it out. We can go to Team Green, Gray, Violet, whatever we want to go with either. I mean, everyone's starting things at a different time. We'll lock in with Green for now. Their side of Gladius this time is going to be, again, a front line with an Iron Eye all the way in the back.
This team's got a lot of heart. I like this. This is my favorite one to watch.
They are so fun. The engagement is so, like, look at Will Neff. He is so locked in right now, but they're down at level 11, so a little bit like less than where you'd want to be in this run. Still absolutely winnable. But maybe we tap in and see what the comms are like here from Will Neff and the gang on Team Green.
They're on me. They're all on Ba. They're all on Ba.
Yeah, so you can see that red circle kind of shows you who's taking the biggest aggro so far.
It does. So
Yeah.
if you see that red reticle on one of your teammates, that means they have the eye of the enemy.
They gotta run.
Could be a big opportunity for you, depending on your situation.
Oh,
and
no.
Also, it tells that player, run. Yes.
Yeah.
I got two on me. He's rejoining. We have to get Myth right now.
Nice, so good strats there, but Gladius
Gotta be
doesn't
careful.
stop. Yeah.
I can't see. All right, he's on me. He's on me. He's on me.
And I mean, they're able to res back into the fight, right? So that's one of the key elements really in these boss fights is the resurrection, getting people back, but he's out of heals, right? So now you got to play this very clean, and this is a healthy Gladius. So this fight is really coming down to the wire. It needs to be very sharp from here on out.
And as you can see, yeah, these can become duels of attrition.
pumping.
They're out of flasks.
Halfway.
Looks like they still got a few consumables.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't know that those boluses are going to help Will out too much, though.
I don't think right now under pressure he remembers.
But that's the thing, he doesn't realize he's got the warming stone in
Yeah.
this moment of pressure. And like, it's good that you're hitting on this so much, Sam, because I think a lot of people are like me. Oh, never mind.
There comes the warming stone.
The caster curse didn't work.
There is a relic that lets you use the boluses to heal yourself as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's huge. Now his ult is back up, so can use the iframes from that. Will slowly walk away, get hit a little bit.
So low.
Boys, it's been a
Spam
fucking
rolling.
pleasure.
The ult might come in at some
I'm
point.
going arrow. I'm
There
gonna
we
try
go.
to hit all three.
Oh, if he hits all three, that's huge. Look at the damage. Wow.
Nice.
Pretty
Okay.
good. It was a good shot.
Dude, we love this squad. They're so much fun to watch.
So we're gonna see what
They're all on me.
Maybe we
Method
can
Boy
tap
doing.
in.
Oh my god.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm on it. First stagger. First stagger.
Maybe we can tap back in with Team Green in a sec. Team Gray, it looks like they're about to get their Gladius kill
Come on, baby.
as well.
Come on, baby. Dial.
See how Afro Senju and the group are doing.
Yeah, this is that double executor team, so lots of fun, lots of parries, lots of close range action from this one.
Looks like they got it.
They're in a great spot, still with a few flasks left. And Afro Senju's wasting no time, but a couple big hits going in here. Yeah, let's bring in the audio. Let's listen in here for the final moments of the fight.
Ooh. That Gladius very mobile.
How do I use the item? Okay, I'm using Warming Stone. Do you guys need it?
Yeah, out of HP, sometimes you gotta rely on your
I can't do
team.
anything about that.
Alvin down,
You get it?
Gladius,
Moon?
5% HP, about to split.
Oh!
No, Moon.
All down to one. Moon has to go for the rest with the dodge
clutch.
full lunge by any moment now.
And it feels like the res on Baldwin might be too difficult. Maybe better to just go for the kill here on Gladius. Risk reward. Under pressure right now from Afro Senju. He's just sending it on the Gladius.
Let's go! Let's go!
That is what I'm talking about.
Well done.
Oh my gosh.
That was well
bro.
played.
That is
Oh my
huge.
gosh. Let's go.
Maybe we can
Oh, I
go
just
back
had my
here
ult too.
to
I had
Team
it all, we
Green
had
and
it all.
see how their fight is rolling. Still a bit of health bar left on Gladius. I mean, Will Neff has been dodging incredibly well here in that engagement. Keeping the
God,
HP up
I love that
despite
this one
lacking
is still
class.
going. I can watch this one all day.
This has been the longest one we've seen so far.
Oh.
Will going down again, but that health bar has been put into work.
Right.
I mean,
So
you
you can
got
see
three
that-
players, but Gladius is matching that heat right now.
It's his third time down, so you see the wheel fills up.
Team Violet,
No!
Team Violet wiping Gladius on 5% HP.
No.
That's so incredibly
That was
close.
the easiest boss.
They're not able to get the win there. Oh.
I'm telling you,
Look,
you
the
have
comeback
to
can
be
done.
careful.
The comeback can be done, right? That's
Yeah.
only 1 point, so they're not out of it yet. However, it does put them on the back foot, and with some of the impressive runs we've seen so far, that's a blow there to Team Violet.
Listen, I was talking to Saikuno. He just doesn't want to come last. He wants to be top 4. He wants to stay inside the business. So
Fair enough, podium finish.
Yeah,
It's a good
podium
goal.
finish.
Team
Wanna
Green,
go
though,
for it.
looks like we got 2 down on Team Green, and they
No.
defeat 2, so another fail on Gladius. That is a tough one. Team Purple, I believe they're our last competitors, still fighting this round on only level 9. This is going to be a real endurance battle for them.
Yeah, it can totally be done at 9.
yeah, it's
Can
very
be
true.
done, but it certainly doesn't make it easier.
And it's
right?
only the first down for Zentreya, so they still got a shot here.
War of attrition, though. If they were like level 12 by now, that damage has been done. Could have been enough to take down Gladius, but they're gonna have to work that extra little bit now.
Yeah, we
Just
talked about
because
this a
they're
little
on a
earlier. When you go down the first time, it's very easy to get you back up.
Yeah.
But you need more and more damage to get them up.
This is a nice perk, actually, to have when you're under leveled, that when you get low here, I believe Zentreya has the perk where it summons Holy Ground under you to heal you. So it could be really useful in this fight where, you know, they're deceptively having a bit more resources than they might otherwise expect. For now, they're playing it slow. Maybe the Wilder Ultimate can get a stagger on the boss, an opportunity to deal damage, but they were able to get Limo back in the fight.
He's blood stepping all over the place.
So stylish.
Nice dodge. The poison proc is going to be crucial if they want to play this as that war of attrition. They want to try to stall it out.
A little bit of lightning damage on this.
They've got poison on him.
Yeah,
That's something.
it's ticking down slowly. Oh, the restage there as well.
Although you're always racing against the clock in the day phases of Night Rain, here in the Night Lords and the Night Bosses, you can play things a little bit slower, but of course, your resources are finite, so that is a risky strategy in its own right.
Yeah, there's-
Zentreya gets caught.
There's no clock to fight when you're
Yeah.
fighting the main bosses.
The bosses are hard enough, all right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
please don't make them
Exactly.
harder.
3 dogs now all over Doki Bird. Rolling away really well, not taking even a lick of damage. This time, no fireball to stop Zentreya.
Trying to heal up. Using that holy ground, but I mean, when Gladius splits, we've seen some teams like full kite. Nice roll,
Yeah.
but got caught by the other dog. The flame
Oh,
breath attack.
this one is going to be close.
Yeah, this is going to be a very close one so far. 2 teams still left playing so far. It's Purple, or just Purple, I guess, who's locking in for this one. The last POV we have. So low right now.
Oh, and they stopped the split just in time.
Nice.
Team
That
Purple.
was clutch.
Yeah,
A little
very,
bit of an
very close.
under-leveled run, but with the skill, they bring it together.
Yeah, amazing so far for, I think, every single team. Wipe or not, memorable moments in that first session of a Night Lord.
That was fantastic to watch. A lot of incredible. Every team was different. Every run was different. Again, all getting to the same place, but very differently.
Yeah, very. Some teams were in the craters, some were not, Jake. It's nuts.
It's a beautiful showcase of the incredible variety in Night Rain, and we are going to play 2 more full runs of Night Rain, so there's going to be a lot more to see, but I hope that was a great introduction to start getting
Wie
people in.
bescheuert
I
das
mean,
aussieht,
the fact
diese
that a couple
Aufnahme.
teams fell to Gladius, I'm not super shocked. It's still a stiff challenge.
It
even for
happens.
people with
Meine
experience.
Fresse.
Believe me, I've died to Gladius a lot.
same. Guilty as charged. At the same time, too, right? It's not a short for thing. You can be level 12, you can be down to 5% HP. You have to be locked in these Night Lords. That being said, it's not just the Night Lord that we want to focus on. We're talking about the day cycle, the night cycle. We have some replays overall for the entire first session we saw across a whole board of 8 teams. I want to tap right in and look at it. Team 10, we saw one of the best shows so far, right? They were the first ones to finish. Looks
Yeah.
so good on Aggie's side. They were nuts.
I think the composition here, again, I haven't seen the, 2 Iron Eyes and a Duchess.
Yeah.
So absolutely no tankiness, no sustainability at all, just all damage. This is
Perfect rolling, baby. Just perfect
this is-
rolling.
This is glass cannon mastery right here, and you can really see the Duchess's restage being used to facilitate that Iron Eye DPS.
Yeah. It's melting in a microwave, but that microwave's like inside the sun.
The fact that they went here in this boss fight for the Tree Sentinel first really shows your strength. We see most teams try to play this one a little slower, clear the cavalrymen first, and maybe kite the Sentinel around, but they were just full confidence. The arrow riposte there also pretty sick.
Yeah, they weren't even using their ultimates on these night bosses.
They didn't
were
need
like,
to.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The sustained damage they have is absurd. As long as your Duchess can backstep in this and get out of the way, you're set, apparently.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just Team 10's run kind of from start to finish. Started out doing things. Aggie even knows about the speed as well. Team Cyan as well. Now, we looked at what things look like when you have a lot of bows in the business. When you got some magic rolling in as well, there's a lot of speed there too, Dan.
Some amazing Recluse play here.
Yeah.
And again, while I stress that the Recluse is a pretty high skill cap character and takes some getting used to, look what you can do with it. I mean, this speaks for itself. When you can chunk a magma worm like that, that's incredible.
Yeah, and her ult lets the entire team sustain. We got a Raider close by as well, and of course, Jake.
That queen doesn't even have a chance to live.
That is ridiculous, that amount of nuking on the health bar. And then especially in the AoE fights, where some of these spellcasting become especially powerful. And I mean, he's just standing and delivering.
Look at his HP bar.
Who's the boss here? I don't think it's not the Tree Sentinel.
Oh my God! We were the villains all along, like straight up. This is that story. I mean, even when the dogs are split up by 3, your spells.
Ja, das sieht schon, sie sieht schon ein bisschen imber aus.
He's a peaceful boy.
He needs a nap.
He needs a big nap after that one.
They're going down for one real quick with Team Cyan on the case.
Yeah.
Level 15, I mean, dude, it's crazy how much these teams have improved, how much of like a skill growth there is. For them to be level 15, I mean, I had only ever seen that like once before in all the runs I've seen. And the fact that they got it here off the rip in the first run of the competition says to me that this is a super serious contender for the title, a team that very well could fell all 3 Night Lords today.
Absolutely. They got 2 more left in the docket. Team Bronze as well, doing quick work on everything that's on the board. One of the few teams to actually end up running Executor as well, and they did it kind of in silence, right? I like it when Executor kind of looks like just all the other characters as well, kind of in its own lane, doing the parries, not getting in too much trouble. That beast pops out, goes crazy. It means you're doing your job super, super well.
No! Guys, I got
kicked off the top 2 though, but this is one of the things that actually
it's a good thing to showcase here.
Yeah.
If you played those Goblin Jerry Knights before, you can use that mantling system to attack their vulnerable critical spot. Great showcase here from Team Bronze, and they were also able to chunk through the Fell Omen as well.
Good job.
Very nice from Loyalty there. And yeah, we got up against Gladius as well. Quick work there too. I mean, just huge from Team Bronze. Over at Gray, they started things off different, up inside the castle, going for that golem, or I guess one of the fortresses, going for the golem. And then after the fact, also just ended up playing, I think, one of the most unique styles we saw so far, double Executor, Dan.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see if they're going to stick with the team comps for the rest of this. I know everyone's playing to win, so maybe they will, but really interesting class diversity on this initial showing.
I don't know what's the strongest, but I'm trying to use the Executor role, man. That is too sick. Turning into like a full-on Elden Ring boss.
You literally go beast mode.
It's so cool. Like, honestly, just for the swag factor alone, I've got to be an Executor main when this game drops.
Yeah, when it comes to the items they use as well, like so many dex weapons, multiple katanas, twin blades, lots of bleed.
Bleed weapons. And who doesn't like bleed weapons? Come on.
Ja, Leute, okay. Ich denke, ich kann mir, bevor ich jetzt weiter Spoiler gucke hier, denke ich kann mir vorstellen, was das für ein Game ist. Jetzt habe ich endlich mal echt ein bisschen gesehen. Ja, ich habe Bock. Wir gucken uns das an. Morgen oder wann auch immer es rauskommt. Danke fürs Einschalten. Einen wunderschönen Abend. Und ja. Bis zum nächsten Mal in Game, würde ich sagen.